How are you viewing this move from Durant?
Well, I'm viewing it as the weakest move I've ever seen from a superstar.
Well, and welcome to the Go Spurs Go Memes podcast, live but recorded from the Go Spurs Go Memes Network studio. I am your host, Ray. In studio with me today, Buddy and Frank. Gentlemen, it's been about a month since we've been on the air, but we're back with a vengeance. We decided to take a little summer break, and we decided to come right back during the craziness that is free agency 2016. So much crap has happened. We're going to cover everything that's happened that we're aware of and things that could be happening, because I'm sure stuff will happen while we're trying to record here. So how we're going to handle today's show is we're basically going to focus on free agency. We're not going to do any bits. There will be no brand new Spurs in the city, no crazy stories of the week, no movie reviews, nothing else. 100% focused on free agency. And, of course, I think what we have to start off with, gentlemen. Well, first off, I should say, gentlemen, how are you guys doing? I feel like I haven't seen you in forever.
It's been a while, and we all have been busy, with our lives. It seems like summer is pretty much the time where, you're busy as a parent.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. We've had no time, and we've tried. We've actually have tried to get together, but our schedules are just so different right now that it's taken a while for us to get together. But I'm glad that we're back in the studio today. And I know we've been nonstop kind of going back and forth between messages about everything that's happening with free agency. I've been nonstop on Go Spurs Go Memes, posting recaps, trying to keep everybody up to date on everything. And we've been getting nothing but positive feedback from people saying, hey, this is great. I love this site. Keep it up. Keep going. So I'm really glad that we're going to be able to actually talk about everything more on this podcast than we normally would be able to do by typing something up on the Facebook page or on Twitter. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started, guys. Like I said, we're going to jump into free agency, and then we'll take a break. We'll come back, and then we'll jump into everything happening with the Spurs. So as we just heard, we're going to kick it off. Kevin Durant has decided to leave Oklahoma City, and he is joining the Golden State Warriors on a max deal. He's doing 2 years with an option in the second year, so that, of course, he can opt out. Cap goes boom next summer. It'll be the highest that it's ever been before, and he wants to be able to make bank, and I'm pretty sure that Golden State will give it to him. And at the same time next summer, Steph Curry's contract will be over, and he will be seeking his max as well. So, guys, what are your thoughts on Kevin Durant going to Golden State?
Well, there's a lot of different trains of thought on this, right? The one train of thought is like, wow, what a coward. Just takes off. He loses to the team. If you can't beat him, why not join him, right? But then on the other train of thought, it's the smartest move for him to do. I mean, you have to think. You got the best chance to be able to establish a legacy as a champion and as one of the best players in NBA history with a team that will be stable for quite a while. I mean, we talked about this when it first happened. We were like, well, San Antonio's not going to be winning a championship anytime soon.
Always so positive we are.
We're just realists, though.
No, we really are realists.
And it's because they've become a heavy favorite. I mean, look at what Vegas did to them. Vegas gave them instead of from 8-1 odds, they went to 2-1 odds or something like that. It's it's crazy. And it's because it's exactly the part that they needed. They needed a go-to scorer that can score on his own, create his own shot, and take over a game. That's what they needed. Somebody that was not Steph Curry.
Right.
And so they answered all the questions. Now, the thing that needs to be remained now is what did they give up in order to get there, which we'll get into.
Yes, we will. Frank, what are your thoughts?
Well, basically, it must suck as an Oklahoma City fan right now. I mean, you're looking at the demise of your franchise. I mean, I can't really see them getting back into the game for a long, long time. I mean, right now all you have is Westbrook. Beyond that, maybe Adams. But, I mean, they've got immediately you've gone from one game into the championship to a rebuilding year. Just like that. And the funny thing is, in perspective of the Spurs, too, I said this. I mean, when we were all talking, we're like, wow, the Spurs are 4th seed, as it stands right now, because Oklahoma City is going to give Golden State a run. And then all of a sudden, Durant makes that move to Golden State, and then suddenly the way I see it is Spurs are back up to number
they
2.
Really are
number 2 seed.
They're kind of and it's just one little move here. And now I'm going to be 100% honest with my whole view on the whole Kevin Durant thing, because everybody keeps asking me, Ray, what do you think about this whole thing?
Isn't it amazing though that every free trade, every year when we deal with free agency, it always stems on one person's decision.
It does. It totally does.
When it happens, boom, everything starts falling into place.
Everything exploded right afterwards.
And that's
It's
exactly
true.
what happened on this one.
Okay, so my thoughts on the whole Kevin Durant thing is, you can't beat him, so you join him. And I actually think Kevin Durant has screwed himself with his legacy because history will show that he was the guy that left Oklahoma City to go join a super team to win a championship. And he's going to get his rings. He will. I mean, I have no doubt that being in gold and blue, he will get a championship eventually. He may get multiple championships because, again, back to what Buddy said, Golden State is going to be very, very stable for at least the next 4 to 5 years. You're going to have Thompson. You're going to have Curry. You're going to have Green. You're going to have Durant now. And more than likely, you keep Iguodala. But the question that becomes, the big question now is, what else does Golden State, what does that roster look like as it fills up? And now they have every veteran that you can think of calling them up. Their agents are calling Golden State and saying, I'm willing to come and play for a vet minimum. So, of course, David West is now part of the Golden State Warriors. Who's the other guy that they just took?
Zaza Pachulia.
Zaza, the GOAT, the great Zaza, has joined Golden State as well. And I think you're going to start hearing more people also trying to jump on that bandwagon as well. And I think that's why you're starting to hear more about Ray Allen, that Ray Allen wants to come back because he's a ring chaser. We know that. He has his agent call and check around to see what interest there is for him. But who does he have the agent call? He has the agent call the Warriors, the Cavs, the Spurs, and the Clippers, the top 4 teams in the league right now, to see if they'd be willing to bring him on board.
And that's amazing because this is the day we live in now. Long is it gone the days of George Gervin or Dr. J, people who were just establishing their teams and you played and retired in them for the most part. I mean, your legacy is built. Your legacy is actually built upon where you stood. Charles Barkley's a different story, but what you call it with the Knicks with Irving, and did I get that right?
No, he was with the Sixers.
No. Ewing, Patrick
okay.
Ewing. But you just go out. John Stockton, Karl Malone. They stayed with their franchise. David Robinson, and to the better extent, Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
But now we're seeing, like you said, a whole bunch of ring chasers, and it's like once you get to the end of your career, if you don't have that ring, by all means, you go find it.
Right. And that's basically what happened with Karl Malone and Gary Payton, is that they didn't have their rings. They said, screw it, we'll take low contracts. Let's go join the Lakers. We're going to go with Kobe and Shaq and see if we can win a title with them. They got to the finals, but they didn't get their ring because out of nowhere, a team out of Boston came around and beat them. So.
And here's an ironic thing, too. The thing is that the person who really realized this first, one of the first people who ever realized this, was the one who criticized Durant the most, which is Charles Barkley.
Right.
Barkley knew he wasn't going to win a ring.
In the Sixers, no. It was never going to happen.
They weren't good. They were average at best in the East, right? And so he went to a team that he felt that was going to win the championship, even though he never did. He went to the Suns, and he was there for a long time, and they competed for the ring, but they ran into a buzzsaw named Michael Jordan.
Which was the same buzzsaw that did not allow the Sixers or anybody else from the Eastern Conference
which is what was funny about the whole
to go to
thing.
the finals.
So, but I mean, he was the first one to start that kind of trend, if you really think about it. And then people after him, they didn't catch on until later. Like, again, Karl Malone and Gary Payton are perfect examples of this.
Right.
They waited too long to jump ship and try to find the ring somewhere else, and then it was too late.
And I dare say that what we're seeing nowadays actually starts with LeBron James. LeBron was in Cleveland. He tried to build a team there. There was no way that team could compete, so he left Cleveland, went to Miami, formed a super team there. They won 2 championships, went to the finals pretty much every year that he was a part of that team. And then once he just decided, you know what, I don't want this no more. I want to build a super team somewhere else. I'm going to go back to Cleveland. And this year he actually brought that city a championship. And so you kind of have to admire that. I hate LeBron James. I've never liked him as a person, as a player, but you got to admire what he's done. He opted out of his contract. He's going to get that max salary next year. That's going to be worth like $200 million. And he's worth every penny. I hate saying that, but it's true. He's worth it. And he's going to do great things in Cleveland.
He absolutely solidified his legacy
Completely.
just on that one game.
Completely. Now, let's go back to Durant real quick. And so the other thing that I want to talk about is that I actually think, I do agree with you, Frank, he's basically dismantled the Oklahoma City Thunder. Because not only has he messed them up and basically gone from the second team in the West probably taking them down to maybe 5th or 6th, maybe. I mean, you still have Westbrook, yes. Westbrook will probably have an MVP year, which is probably something that he's wanted for the longest time. But next year, when his contract is up, he's out of Oklahoma City. He's gone.
Absolutely.
He's absolutely gone. There's no way in hell he stays in Oklahoma City. And I actually think even if Durant would have stayed in Oklahoma City, I still think Westbrook takes off. That's just me, though.
Well,
I really do feel
it
that
kind
way.
of screams that they only had one more shot at this, and
Right.
I mean, they were so close. They should have beat Golden State.
They should have. They really should have.
It really they became they became the Oklahoma City of the whole season. just
And
lying down.
They
the
became an NBA history problem. I mean,
Yeah.
how many teams had ever come back from 3-1
Exactly.
in the conference finals?
Exactly.
I think only like maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah, so he's completely dismantled that franchise. I think his legacy is basically screwed now. But then you got to think, too,
But
One-
winning erases
Yeah, exactly.
all of that.
No.
If he wins 3 championships coming forward,
and
no
become-
one will
and-
ever think about it
and
again.
becomes the MVP of the finals.
Okay, that's a different thing there.
we forget everything.
True. But I also think that the one thing that I thought that a lot of people were kind of mentioning is like, oh, he's all about the money. He's all about the money. It's like, no, he really isn't, because he decided to go to Golden State. He's going because he wants a ring. If it was about the money, he would either gone to the Spurs or Miami, because he would have made more money with either one of those, thanks to no state taxes. But actually going to Golden State, he's actually going to be earning the least amount of money out of all of his options. He's only going to make actually about like $12 million in his pocket, because all the rest goes to taxes. But I think for him, it was a good decision. I mean, how can you not want to be part of a super team like that? I would think if any of us were in that opportunity to win a ring, earn a shitload of cash, you would take it. You totally would.
And that's the thing about his decision. They were like, "You're with us, or we'll just do it without you."
And I think that's my favorite thing is, I guess within the meetings, Draymond Green was there, and he basically told Kevin Durant, we don't need you. We'll win championships without you. And Durant was kind of put off by that. But then once he started like hearing about, their legacy and their plan, their family, all this stuff, and he just wanted it. And I mean, it got pretty freaking crazy, though.
But what's funny about that is that
Yeah.
they want to talk about legacy and us, all this other crap. This team didn't even really become the Warriors until like 2 years ago.
Right, but
And
what
so
they're
I don't
talking,
want to hear
it's
this.
gotta start
no.
somewhere.
This is where you're wrong. Exactly, it has to start
I
somewhere,
think
and
it had to
that's
do
what
with
they're
Jerry
saying
West.
is that, and it does have to do with Jerry West, because what they're telling Durant is we are going to start a legacy here. So how can you not want to start that?
So then why would this damage his legacy then?
Because he was the guy that left and dismantled a franchise to go chase a ring. That's where I think his legacy is going to be ruined, especially if this super team falters.
Now, if they falter, yes.
Yeah,
yes, without a doubt.
And that's
It'll
the
be
thing
a
is
blunt.
like, yes, they have this lineup. Yes, you can look on paper and say, damn, this team is going to win 5 NBA championships. They're going to go
They're gonna
back
win
to back to
75
back.
games,
Exactly.
which is not gonna happen.
It's not going to
It can't-
happen. Exactly. But nothing, I mean, everything looks good on paper until they actually play the games. And just like that amazing Lakers team that had this super team, went to the NBA finals, and then they got beat by a team that nobody thought would beat them. I think that could happen in Golden State as well.
That amazing Spurs team that got Aldridge.
Yeah, and then the big thing too, the big thing too, I think going into next year is really what's going to happen with Golden State's cap space, because they're going to have to max out Durant and they're going to have to max out Steph Curry, and in doing that, then you already have 2 other max players in Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. The thing is that Thompson and Green, their max contracts are actually much lower than everybody else's because of when they signed, so their contracts are actually lower than like Kawhi and Aldridge's. And so that'll be interesting to see exactly how much money Golden State has left. But again, you have these amazing players, and everyone's running and saying, like, I'll take a vet minimum. I have no problem doing that. I don't know if they're going to have a problem getting people on their roster. But the 4 guys by themselves can't win the NBA championship. They have to have a support group as well. They have to have a good bench.
Shall we talk about what they lost in all of this?
Yeah, go for it, buddy.
So they lose Bogut to a trade to the Mavericks, right?
Right.
That's their interior defender. That is the rock of their defense, right? They lose Festus Ezeli, who goes to, I guess we reported
He's probably going to go to Portland.
Probably going to Portland now at this point. So you have your backup center again, sort of a rock kind of defender.
But they got spiked.
Spates.
Spites.
They have Spates, the guy who looks like the Thug Life.
His name's Spites.
And then they have now Pachulia, but Pachulia has always been a little bit erratic, so that's the only thing. So you lose, you get that back, but I sort of think that now size can bother a team like that.
I agree.
We think about like Durant, and we think about, okay, he's not a post player. I mean, he's a great shooter, but is he a post-up player even with the 7-foot frame that he has? He's not.
No.
And so now you've taken a facet of their game to where they had a little bit of toughness on the interior with Bogut, and that's gone now. You can get Pachulia out. That guy's not Bogut, okay? I mean, that's the thing.
He's the GOAT, buddy.
Oh,
But if you see it this way too, is that you're talking about you're putting a scorer amongst scorers. How is he going to get his points? You know, obviously, they're not all going to get 40 points a game.
No.
You know, at the same time. So, you know, this is where the team aspect comes in. Who's going to sit out? Who's going to say, look, you've got the hot hand, you're going to get it, or who's going to go for that MVP?
It's a great problem to have. Like, honestly,
absolutely.
It's an amazing problem to have, but there are a lot of questions there. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if this team struggles in the preseason, and I wouldn't be surprised if they struggled into the Christmas season, just like getting familiar, getting the chemistry going. But I'm telling you right now, this team will be absolutely scary amazing by the time the playoffs come around.
Again,
that's just how I feel about it.
Because the regular season doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. No,
but
neither does the preseason. Nothing matters. Nothing matters.
But the thing I like to think is
Game
that,
7 and round 1 doesn't matter either.
Indeed, I mean they are not gonna. People are saying like, wow, we got Durant, so therefore they're gonna make 75 wins. They're just gonna go undefeated. That's not gonna happen, mainly because of that issue. Because you've got to get adjusted. You've got to get all these people scoring. You got to feed them the ball to a point where if I score, that means you're not scoring. You know,
Right.
who is going to get the ball that time?
Right. And the one thing that I do kind of want to revert back to about the whole Kevin Durant thing is the thing that drives me absolutely crazy. And it's not just, Thunder fans. It's not just Spurs fans. Well, no, it is Spurs fans that drive me absolutely crazy. Is that I hate the comments from Spurs fans that are like, as soon as we found out he was going to Golden State, we don't need him. We don't need him on this team. We don't want him. And I'm like, shut the hell up. If he would have signed with the Spurs, you would have wet your pants.
Exactly.
And you would have already been, out buying that
July
number
4th would have
35.
been
Yeah.
renamed Durant
I'm
Day.
just like, get the hell out of here. I was like, you know what? We wanted him. We didn't get him. It's okay. But don't go around saying like, "Oh, it's gonna be so sweet when the Spurs beat them."
Don't
You're
say that.
kinda
Don't say that.
I don't know. I love the Spurs. We do have a good team, but right now there's just so many questions with what Golden State is actually gonna look like when they get out there on the court, and if they are everything that we're assuming they're gonna be, it's gonna be downright scary. Okay, so I think that's enough about Durant. He'll probably be mentioned throughout this podcast, but I kind of want to start going through all the different signings that have happened already. There's a lot, and then we'll take a break, go into the Spurs, everything that's happening there, and that we'll do that for the podcast. All right, Hassan Whiteside remaining with Miami, 4-year, $98 million max deal. What are your thoughts?
Oh, that's the stupidest thing
I
you
think
could ever.
I think
There
so,
is
too.
a
Like,
stupider one yet, which
why?
I know you're gonna get it. You're gonna get to it, but this is pretty stupid.
It just is. I don't know, Frank. What do you think about Whiteside?
I'm just saying this is a very, very a big indicator of what direction this league is going into.
It's just crazy.
It's just crazy money. In fact, you even have people like on
It's
Twitter
not
like,
the money. It's the fact that you're putting your future on this guy who's proven he's a moron. And I don't get that. The Heat said that this was their priority. How is this guy your priority?
I don't even know if he knows how to spell heat.
Oh, God.
I don't know. Anyways, but with Miami doing that, they've basically screwed over Dwayne Wade, which is why Wade is really pissed off right now because they've put Whiteside up before him. So you've actually put this kid ahead of your franchise player. So this franchise player may actually walk now.
oh, he's going to. There's no way.
I think he's going to
the
the
damage
Bulls.
has been done. Yeah.
It's done. He met with Mickey Arison today. Lasted about 30 minutes. There was no resolution there, and they said it was in positive, negative, which means it's negative, like you say, Frank. He met with Denver. He tried to meet with the Bulls today. That got canceled, but he's going to meet with them tomorrow. But I really, really think he's told Chicago, like, you open up the cap space, I'm coming. I will take the 2-year, $50 million deal with a third-year option, I think is what he's begging for.
And it's crazy. Wade has really played them dirty, though. He really did. He basically told them, look, I don't care what you're trying to build the future. I want my money now.
That's exactly what he's saying.
He took the money that was available to be able to get Durant, for instance. If he had taken less money, they would have been able to get Durant. But he's like, no, I'm not doing that. And he didn't even go to the presentation to get Durant.
Yeah, but like I said, like I was telling you guys here, the problem, I think, is that he has LeBron James in his ear. Yeah. So, LeBron's there.
Oh, what's that voice?
LeBron's like, hi, this is LeBron. Splash, you need your money. Just don't take the deal. Just go get your money. Yeah, I'm not taking no pay cut. You can't come to Cleveland. I ain't taking no pay. No, man, I get my $200 million. What? Yeah, I got to deal with Nike. I don't care. I need more money.
I'll pay for I'll pay for the trip here in Spain.
I love how your LeBron is Michael Jackson.
My LeBron is Michael Jackson.
And with a mix of Prince.
With a mix of Prince, yes. So anytime you see LeBron, you're going to hear my voice.
Oh, Pat, I'm going to shoot now.
Get your money, Flash. Get your money.
Get off me.
Don't listen to Mickey. He's mean.
Get off me.
Mickey stole my glove once.
They fouled me. They fouled me.
Watch this
Okay.
crossover.
It's so hot.
Timothy Mozgov.
Now, here we go. This is the stupidest one.
4 years, $64 million.
Timothy Mozgov.
This goes to that saying, like when you have so much money, you just do stupid things. That's basically what the Lakers have done by giving Mozgov $64 million.
And mind you, that's what started the avalanche of all the crazy contracts. That Mozgov one was
I don't
the
think
one
it started
I
the
thought
avalanche. I think it was the first one of all these crazy contracts. But again, you have to look at what's happened in the NBA. This cap has gone up. It's not so much the dollar amounts as it is the percentages. And once you kind of total up all this amount of money that's being paid out to all these different contracts, you still have to understand that the players are only getting 49% of this revenue. 51% is going to the owners. So the owners are even making more mad money than what these players are. That's the crazy thing to think about. And it hasn't even blown up yet. It blows up next year.
But we still think that is the stupidest thing ever.
Oh, I
Why
do think
would
it's
you? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Ish Smith, 3-year deal, $18 million to Detroit. So that means when we play Detroit, Ish Smith will destroy us again. Pistons also were about to extend Andre Drummond 5 years, $130 million.
Which they weren't going to let him go. That was a good move.
Let's see. Nicholas. I want to say Batum because I love saying Batum. but Batum, 5 years, $120 million. I know Batum's good,
but I don't know about that.
But I don't know about $120 million. But I think that's what they had to give him.
In order to keep him. That was the only way.
They had to give him that amount of money.
Somebody else would have given him that money.
Yeah. Jordan Clarkson, $50 million with the Lakers.
How many years on that one?
I think it was a 3-year, 2 or 3 years, something like that. It's ridiculous.
That's pretty crazy.
Let's see. DeMar DeRozan, 5 years, $139.
He was going to get a max. He was going to get a max no matter where he went. So that was expected.
Yeah, he got that crazy. Bradley Beal, 5 years, $128 million.
That's pretty dumb.
Okay, we got to talk about Chandler Parsons because I think this was the stupidest thing that I've heard.
Oh no, people are loving this thing. I don't understand why.
I've never understood the whole want of Chandler Parsons. He's always hurt, and I've always thought he was trash. But that's just me. I don't know.
He's very one-dimensional.
Yeah,
He's not a great defender at all.
Yeah, so Dallas wanted him to stay. He said no because he wanted a max deal, which basically screwed the Mavs over because they tried to get him. They ended up missing out on a lot of free agents. So I actually think they could have paid him the max and kept him, but they didn't. So then Portland came and said, "Hey, Parsons, we'll throw some money at you. Come out to Portland." And then that didn't happen. Then Mike Conley came around and said, like, I want to play with Chandler Parsons. And then so he made Memphis throw out tons of money to him. Jeez. And so now he got his max deal, $98 million, to play in Memphis. So now you have the triad.
That's not a bad pickup for them, though. Think about what they're starting.
$94 million. Sorry.
Think about what their starting lineup looks like now. You've got Conley. You've got him. Conley's is the crazy one.
We'll get there in a little bit. Yeah,
I'm not there yet. Conley, Parsons, Randolph, and Gasol starting. That's not a bad lineup.
It's not a bad lineup, and that's another thing that we were kind of talking about. With Oklahoma City kind of falling behind because you bring back a healthy Clippers team, you bring back a healthy Grizzlies team, and they basically go above the Thunder. So when I say 5, 6, I mean I really mean it. Like they're really going to drop. Evan Fournier, 5 years, $85 million extension to stay in
I
Orlando.
actually wanted that guy really bad.
He's really good, yeah.
is good.
But there's no way we could afford him. That's not going to happen. Al Jefferson, 3-year deal, $30 million for Indiana. Jeremy Lin went to Brooklyn, 3-year deal. He got his money as well. I don't remember what the amount was.
That was a good pickup for them, though. That was a very good pickup for them because they lost Jarrett Jack, and they were going to need somebody to replace him, and he's more stable than Jarrett Jack, I think.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Everywhere he goes, he always is an igniter. I mean, he really is. I mean, he's not the greatest player, but he's a good energy player. You know, he makes good decisions. I mean, but for what he is,
Right.
I mean, he's worth it. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it again.
Okay,
Timothy
let's talk
Mozgov
about.
got
Let's go
money.
back to something that's worthless. Dwight Howard, 3 years,
Yeah, here we go.
$70.7 million with the Hawks.
Frank, go.
That is one of the worst deals ever.
Frank got
Frank
got really excited there.
You're talking about paying big money towards, for a big man that is no longer relevant in this NBA. The game has changed. It's a lot faster. It goes along the perimeter. And basically, you've just got a boulder in the middle, right in front of the basket.
boulder.
Who can't make a free throw.
Cannot make a free throw.
A boulder that likes 13-year-old girls.
And what is he?
We went weird there.
He's a team killer.
He really is.
He is.
I was half expecting him to go with Carmelo.
And think
Okay.
about what they lost. The Hawks are a pretty sad case. They've lost out bad in
They had so
They
much
really did.
potential.
Yeah,
They lost Horford and they got Howard.
yeah.
And then they
That's not
signed
an
Bazemore.
upgrade.
How much did they get paid Bazemore?
Oh, I don't have that in front
It's
of me.
insane.
70 million.
I'll bring him up in a bit.
Go ahead.
'Cause
Sorry.
I will as I go down the list.
And I guarantee you, throughout the whole season, you're going to see like a game, and you're going to see Dwight Howard. And a
He's
lot of
gonna be
people are going to
slamming
be
the
like,
ball.
well, no, a lot of people.
I don't want to play here no more.
Well, a lot of people are going to sit there and say, "He's like, holy crap, he's
Give me my 70
he still
million.
plays in the NBA."
I'm gonna go sit in the corner.
Yeah, putting him in bed is a bad idea.
Mike Conley, 5 years, $153 million.
So-
that is the largest contract in the history of the NBA.
So explain to me how we were going to
Discuss.
get this guy.
So if the Spurs,
I'm still trying to
Magic.
that's you can explain that easily. So basically, if Conley wanted to come for the Spurs, he would basically take up a max slot. So he wouldn't have gotten 153 million from the Spurs. It would have been less. It would have been closer to like 98. No, like 120. I think is what it would have been. The reason why he got so much is because he stayed with Memphis, so Memphis can give him a 5th year, and every year the amount that you get paid goes up by a certain percentage points. So the Spurs, what they would have had to have done is they would have had to done a huge salary dump to be able to open up a max slot to be able to get Conley in. And in doing that, not only would they would have had to dump Boris Diaw, they probably would have had to dump Danny Green and possibly Patty Mills as well.
What's the problem?
No, but I'm
Patty.
saying like
Shut your mouth.
that's basically what would have happened. Or I think they could have kept Patty Mills, dumped Green and Diaw, and then they would have had to renounce some of the holds that they have as well to open up the slot. But that's what would have happened if we would have gotten Durant too. So I mean, yeah. I actually think us not getting a max player this year
Was a good
was
thing.
kind of a good thing.
Yes.
But we'll
wasn't-
talk about
there
this.
was a
We'll
max
talk about the
player.
Spurs
Go ahead.
in a bit. Let's just continue going down all this crazy list.
Give me a
of
stupid
people.
one. Give me another stupid one.
Let's see. Oh, that's not a good report.
I'm looking right at one right now.
Ray gets a promotion at
Ray gets a 2-year $20.
Too bad this money doesn't go down to
26,000.
this money doesn't go down to D League. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I know.
I'm playing in the Austin Spurs. They give me $10 million a year.
I'll stay there.
Okay, Lil Ding reached an agreement with the Lakers, 4 years, $72 million. I actually think that's a good
No,
deal
that's
for
not a bad
them.
deal for them.
Not a bad deal. Etuan Moore, $34 million, 4 years with the Pelicans.
That's crazy.
Jared Dudley, 3 year, $30 million with the Suns. That's not too bad.
That's not
Actually,
too bad.
$10
They
million
needed
a
him
year.
back, too.
Yeah, Justin Hamilton, $6 million, 2-year deal with
Who
the
the hell's
Nets.
Justin? Who the hell's Justin Hamilton?
Free agent center. A lot of people were after him because they knew that he would be cheap. So that was somebody that everybody was
Yeah,
after.
okay.
Yeah. Don't question me, buddy.
I know.
Free agent guard Kent Bazemore. Here's the one you asked for. 4 years, $70 million.
That fool was riding the bench on the Warriors, and he just played one good year in the Hawks, and he got a good.
He got a good deal. And actually, he actually took less to stay with Atlanta.
Yep.
Other people were throwing like $80 million at him, if I'm not mistaken. Jeff Green, $15 million, 1 year, Orlando Magic.
He ripped them off.
Let's see, Joe Johnson, 2 year, $22 million deal
He
with the
ripped them off
Jazz. No crap. But he also was the second highest paid player in the NBA last year.
That is
Insane.
ridiculous. Come on, you haven't gotten to the real bad one.
Hold on, I'm going through the list. Let's see what else. Excuse me. Horford, 4 years, $113 million with Boston. I think it's a good deal for Boston.
Fantastic deal for them.
So let's talk about Horford real quick. So the whole thing about Horford was Durant, when he wanted to stay in Oklahoma City, he told Oklahoma City, I want to play with Al Horford. Oklahoma City said, okay. They did their best to try to start negotiations with Al Horford. Oklahoma City couldn't guarantee Horford that Russell Westbrook was going to stay. They couldn't guarantee that Kevin Durant was going to stay. Kevin Durant made no promise to him about staying long-term in Oklahoma City. Horford said, I'm out. It was just preliminary discussions. That was never going to happen. So there was no way that he was going to go to Oklahoma City. There were some talks. Is he going to stay in Atlanta? Boston's calling. There's some other places that were trying to throw money at him. But he ended up going to Boston, which I think is a great pickup for them at 4 years. $113 million. It's a young team. They've got some really good players on there. I think Boston can make some noise next year, but we'll see what ends up happening. But I think it's a great pickup for them. I'll talk about a team that's made some noise during this offseason. Courtney Lee goes to the Knicks, $50 million. I'll mention some of the other Knick deals that have happened as well. Anthony Tolliver to the Kings, 2 years, $16 million. Stupid deal alert. Stupid deal alert.
Here we go.
The Houston Rockets, 4 years deal. Ryan Anderson, $80 million. I just don't get it. I know people wanted Ryan Anderson, but I just don't get it.
That's not the stupidest one.
Well, it's not the stupidest one. I just said it was a stupid deal.
Okay, how about you talk about...
Wait.
I gotta go straight to it.
No,
You're
just
driving me
wait.
crazy.
I'm doing it on purpose.
Okay.
Aaron Affalo to the Kings, 2 years, $25 million.
Affalo?
Affalo. I will say it however I want because I can. Who's on the mic right now? Me.
You're all up that
Not when he has the power of the board.
Oh, wait.
Wait. Silent. Let's see. Orlando Magic got Biyombo for 4 years. I forgot the amount of money, but they did get Biyombo, which I thought was a nice pickup for them. Austin Rivers.
Here we go.
Austin Rivers, 3-year deal with the Clippers.
Oh.
Okay, we got to talk about this because I freaking died laughing at this. Because according to Austin Rivers, it was a tough decision.
Oh, yeah.
But he decided that it would be best for him to stay with the Clippers, and I think they're paying him like $35 million, which effectively means that he's making more money than Daddy is now. But it's like, dude, what you're basically saying is nobody wanted your punk ass. And so you went to Daddy and said, Daddy, I don't got a job. And he said, don't worry, son, I'll sign you here.
I'll take care of you.
And I'm going to give you some money as well. Don't tell your mama.
And then they also signed.
I'm not there yet, buddy. Hold
the
on.
same team.
Well, yeah, but I'm jumping around. It gets exciting this way. And you get frustrated, so I enjoy doing this. Let's see. Dallas, Harrison Barnes, 4-year max deal, making him the most expensive Mavs player in that franchise's history.
But somebody was going to pay him that money anyway, so. And
Yep.
so.
I mean, I think it was smart of them to.
Said.
It's true. I mean, it was a good pickup for them in a lot of ways. I mean,
Let me see. Not that. I have so many notes. I'm trying to go through things.
Oh,
Okay.
I got one.
Rajon Rondo,
Oh, this is a bad one.
2-year deal, $30 million. He was going to get his money anyways. I mean, I actually think it's a good pickup for Chicago, especially if they're able to get Dwayne Wade. Then you have Butler, Rondo, and Wade. I think that's a pretty good starting lineup.
So when one get hurt, then the other one can
Because
get
one
hurt
of them
later.
will.
But Rondo doesn't get hurt very often.
No, he really doesn't.
Yeah, Rondo doesn't get hurt very often.
Wade is the one I'm worried about with his knees.
And his stupid shoulder.
Shoulder.
His shoulder. Yeah. Matt Barnes headed back to Sacramento, $12 million.
Psycho.
It's just to be a thug and to be able to get that much money. You know what I mean?
They say he's
that's
not
just-
a thug. They say the guy is not a thug. He's just crazy.
Anyways, that was Buddy, president of the Matt Barnes fan club.
Yeah.
Jamal Crawford, he decided to go back to the Clippers, 3 years, $42 million.
God, they're out of their mind to pay him that much.
But dude, everybody wanted him. Like 6th man of the year, everybody was throwing cash at him to come. But I'm curious if there were really offers, or was that just leverage to get the Clippers to give him? You know, I don't know. I just couldn't believe how much money they were throwing at him. Alan Crabb, 4 years, $70 million deal with Brooklyn. Portland didn't want to match, even though they gave a qualifying offer for him. So they just said, nope, we out. Cole Aldridge and the Wolves, 3 years, $22 million.
Was that a bad move for the Clippers, you think, letting go of him?
No, I don't really think it matters. That's just how
They
I
said
feel.
he played well when Griffin was out.
Yeah. Power forward John Layer, 4-year deal, $42 million with the Pistons.
That is
who?
Exactly.
Some of these names, as this crap was coming up for me, I was just like, wait, who's that? $42 million, Jesus. Let's see, Andrew Nicholson, $26 million with the Wizards. Another one I'm
Who
just
the
like,
hell
this
is
is
Andrew
crazy.
Nicholson? Oh, that was with the guy with Magic last year.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy sucked.
Let's see. The Brooklyn Nets signed Tyler
This is
Johnson.
the one that's just like
$50 million.
God, like that guy played like 10 minutes.
But that's what I mean. Again, when you have all this extra money, you're just stupid with it. But I mean, that's the thing is like they have the money. Here's what happened. The problem was.
I mean, you're trying to
I'm trying to
Shut
explain.
up.
Let me
tell you.
explain. Everybody knew that this was going to be the Durant sweepstakes, so everybody set themselves up to have all this extra cash this summer to make a run at him.
And now they stuff it in there.
But what ended up happening was that he basically narrowed down his teams to four or five teams. Everyone else was begging to get a meeting with him, and he was like, "Hell no, I'm not going to go play for your team." So all these franchises just had all this extra cash.
You're thinking Brooklyn had a chance to get Durant.
No, I don't. No. I don't think that they had a chance. I think that that's just what ended up happening is because they knew that Durant was going to happen. There was probably going to be some movement going around, whatever. So they wanted to be prepared. I think that's what a lot of these franchises did. And so now they're just throwing stupid money at people.
That is a really bad
Yeah.
contract.
I do want to mention that Mike Brown, former Spurs assistant coach, former head coach Cleveland, he actually completed a deal to join Steve Kerr's coaching staff with the Golden State Warriors.
Good for him.
Yeah, I thought that was a good thing for him, and a good thing for that franchise to pick him up. Let's see, what else?
Brandon Jennings, you forgot about him.
Oh, what was the Brandon Jennings?
1 year deal, 5 years, $5 million with the Knicks. But
that's right. Yeah, he did go to the Knicks. I forgot about that.
it's not a bad pickup for them. He can come off the bench for them. It's a really good pickup.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, Dellavedova.
Deli got like $38 million.
$38 million, 4 years. They didn't match his offer sheet.
Oh, there was no way the Cavs were going to. The Cavs have no money.
Yeah, they're out.
Like they are so far over in the luxury tax. There's no way in hell that they could pay anything.
This is a good one.
Yep.
Gerald Henderson to the 76ers, 2 years, $18 million.
That was a good
like
one.
that one.
Yeah, that was a good one there. Dwight Powell, $37 million, go back to the Mavs. I don't
Who
get
the
it.
hell is that?
So I do want to mention, we talked about Russell Westbrook earlier. When Durant finally made his decision, there was a lot of talk like, what is OKC going to do with Westbrook? Are they going to try to trade him? And I actually think they did kind of start thinking about that, but at the last minute they said, no, we're just going to keep him. But I actually think that's a stupid move by OKC just because next year they will get nothing for him.
Well, they can trade him during the year. Let's say the season's going like to the shitter, and they're like 500 by like halfway through the season. Why not get rid of Westbrook?
I don't think they will. I honestly don't think they will. I don't know. I just don't think that they will. Don't yell at me. Luke Ma Abamut, 2-year deal.
Mabamute.
Whatever. 4.5 million.
I am like your pronouncer here.
No, but I love not even trying to say them correctly because I know you're going to be like, it's Mamba Bute. So I don't even care
Luke,
that I'm saying it correctly.
Mr. Luke, I'm saying sorry,
Because-
your name is a booty.
Oh crap! Just right now, I just got the message.
What?
Dwayne Wade is signing with the Bulls.
How
That
much?
is confirmed. He's going to get that $50 million from them.
Oh,
He informed the Bulls he's going with them.
That's a good one.
Damn. So that means Chicago's going to have to start dumping people. Yeah, I'll come back to that in a little bit. Once we go on break, I'll find out some more about that.
His hair's just gone on fire. I can see it. Nene Hilario went to the Rockets for 1 year, $2.9 million.
Oh yeah. I
That's
forgot that. Ramon Sessions, $12.5 million with the Hornets.
Wow,
Roy Hibbert, 1 year, $5 million.
Where'd he go?
Charlotte. Oh, I didn't even say that. I just assumed that you could read my mind.
Charlotte.
Charlotte. He's gone to the Hornets.
The Hornies. I mean the Hornets.
Let's see.
As you can tell, there was a lot of moves, folks.
There was a lot of what?
Moves.
Yeah, there were just tons of moves. Yeah, that's basically it right now. Yeah, that's basically all I kind of want to talk about with all the free agencies. I think I've been talking for a while now. But what we do want to do is, we're going to go into talking about the Spurs, but we do got to mention some players that are no longer with the Spurs anymore. Of course, we know one, David West has accepted a minimum deal to go to the Golden State Warriors, and the big croissant, Boris Diaw, was traded to the Utah Jazz. So tradition here on Go Spurs Go Memes is once a player leaves the Spurs, we do...
Or dies.
Dies or just leave.
Wow.
We do...
George Gervin, you're on watch.
Death Watch 2016.
Wow. So tradition here on Go Spurs Go Memes is that we do a farewell gong. I said it right. I usually say farewell dong.
Yeah.
But
Welcome back.
welcome back. We normally do a farewell gong for our players, so we are going to do one for David West and for Boris Diaw. Buddy, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go, gentlemen. David West. Boris Diaw.
I'm going to let that one go a little farther because he's fat.
How about you shut up?
Oh, sorry.
Spurs talk when we come back. You're listening to Go Spurs Go Memes. All right, we're back, and it's time to talk about your San Antonio Spurs. Where to start? Lots of questions. I guess the big news, of course, is David West is gone. Boris Diaw has been traded, and the Spurs have agreed to a contract with Mr. Paul Gasol. So let's kick off with Gasol. Buddy, what are your thoughts on the Gasol agreement?
I love that we got Gasol.
I do too.
I believe that he gives us a good post presence. I believe he gives us a good scoring post.
He's an upgrade from Boris. I don't understand how people can't see that. He is an
Smart.
upgrade from Boris. Boris was trash in the playoffs. That's why he didn't even play in the last damn game. He lost favor with Pop. And so we knew already. You knew
It was happening.
if we were going to have to make move salaries around to make cap space, Boris was going to be part of that deal, and that's basically what happened. I absolutely love it. There's like 5 raccoons running that way. Oh, there's one right here by the door. There's like 2. There's like I told you. There's like 5 of them.
Wait, hang on.
Holy crap!
No. Oh,
Let him in. Hang on.
No, I'm going to lock the door.
Don't let them in. Don't go by the door because then the raccoons are going to come in. There's like 10 of them. Look.
Holy shit.
There's like 20 raccoons. They just ran. Frank.
Dude, this is beat down like a meerkat.
No, Frank, don't go outside. They probably have rabies. You're going to get hurt. Come back. Let's keep talking Spurs.
They're like really big cats.
Anyways, so for those of you that don't know, the Go Spurs Go Memes Network show is actually
In the wilderness.
in the wilderness. And so all the time, random animals come up to our windows. And right now, about 20 raccoons just came up to the windows. So that was pretty cool. Anyways, back to Paul Gasol.
So I think it's a great addition for the Spurs.
Okay.
I think he's going to be a model citizen. He knows Spanish. He's going to get along great.
I think
He's going to be able to go anywhere and get along with anybody. Do you realize that?
Can you imagine the HEB commercials with Paul Gasol? Can you imagine that?
That's fine.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah, I can imagine that. That's going to be great.
I think that's going to be really good. Frank, what are your thoughts on Paul Gasol?
Oh, the raccoons.
Raccoons.
Cats, and well, that's the thing. I'm in agreement with you. I mean, you lose Boris, but you gain back Gasol. But the thing is, can they be Golden State? That's the whole thing. I mean, I still think right now, as they stand, San Antonio's a second place team.
Right. And I think too, I think you're dead right about them being number 2. The question is, what's the distance between the team that's number 1 and the team that's number 2? That's the question.
You ever heard of the Grand Canyon?
But I'm thinking about Gasol's game. I mean, he's a post-up player. He's very slow laterally. I mean, if you have an offense that just kind of spreads the floor, plays that perimeter,
Right. You do lose some defense with Gasol. That is true. You do lose a little bit of defense with him.
And with faster teams, I mean, how much of that is
They're gonna pick and roll
is he
to
going to be
death.
playing, and how much is he going to be playing throughout those seasons?
And we're going to be able to use Gasol to pick and roll teams to death as well.
Well, that's true. The high-low game is
The
gonna come back.
exactly.
It's going to
yeah.
come back in full
But
force.
he's got experience. He's got, he's got the offense. It's just the defense. I don't know how much we were sacrificing.
Well, I mean,
with
we
that.
know.
but without Bort.
we know we were going to lose that with him.
Right,
I mean,
right.
I think they accept that he's a good rebounder.
Well, we get a center. I mean,
We get a true
a
center.
true center.
Yes.
Which Mark Aldridge never liked playing.
Nope.
So he never was going to play that. So in a lot
So
of ways,
I'm looking forward to a starting lineup of Tony Parker, Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Paul Gasol. And I think that that's a solid starting lineup. Like I do think it's just a solid lineup. And the reason why I throw Paul Gasol in there is because the rumors that we've all been hearing is that Tim Duncan is going to retire. It looks like he's leaning that way. I think all the signs are kind of there, and I think that's one of the reasons why we were able to sign Gasol is because Gasol knows that Tim is probably on his way out. Of course, Tim hasn't said it officially himself, and yes, he could say that he's coming back for one more year. But the one thing I do want to address about the whole Tim Duncan thing is that I think a lot of Spurs fans, because we do love Tim Duncan, he is always going to be, when you think of the Spurs, you're always going to think Tim Duncan. But I think that we can be very selfish about Tim Duncan and, begging like, oh, give us one more year, give us another year, yada, yada, yada. But the thing is, like, he's played 19 years. His knees are killing him. He's made his money. Why not just call it quits? Like, just enjoy the time, enjoy everything. 19 seasons of Tim Duncan, just
That's
enjoy
easy
it.
to say when it's not your career.
But
I mean,
I
if
know.
this is all that you're doing, I mean, it's hard to. I mean, I would imagine if someone said like you're doing what you love, just a matter of and someone says, okay, just end it, and you never do it again. I mean, that's a very, very hard.
No, I
decision,
know,
okay?
and I kind of feel
But
like Duncan's being pulled in different
Yeah.
directions. Like, come back, don't come back. Oh, we want you. No, we don't want you. Like, you know what I mean? It's just.
But let's look at the reality here. During the playoffs, where was he? During the last series with Oklahoma, where was he? I mean, he looked tired. He looked
Yes.
very, very just out of the
He
game.
was just
Almost
out of
like
place
completely out of it.
like if there was a decision to be made where he said like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. It was that series.
I agree with you. I do. But we're supposed to find out this weekend if Tim is coming back or not. So by this weekend, we will know for sure, is he retiring, is he not retiring?
You know,
He's retiring.
I would say at this point he's going to retire. I mean, I think he's one of these people that looks at life and what he wants to do in basketball as a realistic kind of thing, and it's like, okay, basketball's a job that I have, and I love playing basketball, but it's not my life.
Right.
It's not like somebody like Michael Jordan who lived to play basketball. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
That fool couldn't live without it. You
Or
know what I mean?
LeBron James.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all
They're
he's
not-
been doing.
That's not him. He has other interests
And
to do.
he's not the type that's going to want a farewell tour. He's not going to say, like, you know what, I'm coming back. This is my final year. It's not going to be the Tim Duncan farewell tour. It's not going to happen. And I also kind of find it funny that there's a lot of Spurs fans on Go Spurs Go meme saying, like, well, what I kind of want is for Tim to come back for home games only. What the hell is
the hell
that?
are they talking about?
What is that?
They tried that with Phil Jackson. They
Home
wanted to kill
games
him.
only, and they compared to some other people in other sports have done that before, where they only appear for home games. I've never heard
Never
that
heard of that
before,
either.
but I'm just like, I just think that's dumb. Like, you either play or you don't play.
So here's an interesting thing too, right? And so my wife gave me this great little conspiracy theory. This is what I was telling you about. Okay, and this is it's sort of a conspiracy theory, but it's not. But this is actually an interesting thing, right? What if like Popovich is talking? Now remember, Popovich is taking care of these guys their whole careers at this point, right?
Right.
Okay. What if he told them, look, you guys, you can come back if you want to, but you don't have to come back anymore. We have whatever we want to in this town for the rest of our lives. You know, he tells Ginobili, take whatever the minimum that we can ever give you. But I'm going to take care of you the rest of your life. You're going to be here. You've got the money from us already. We're going to be together like forever practically. We're not moving from here. Parker's not moving. Junkin's not moving. You're not moving. I'm not moving. So it's about more of a life thing to where this thing that Miami preaches in reality is more real with us about a family. That they're more of a family here, and then they're going to do whatever they can to keep it together. But however, they'll just mix it and make it work within themselves to make sure that we win the whole time, because that's what's happened so far.
Right.
I mean, we
It's
haven't
worked for
seen-
Boris Diaw.
But Boris Diaw wasn't part of that. Diaw was not ever part of that. The only people who are part of that are the big three and Popovich, and that's it.
Everybody else, screw you. Sorry.
Well, I mean,
You're not worth my time.
Not
What's
even
your name
Leonard.
again?
At this point, not even Leonard. I mean, that's the thing.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know.
My wife's gonna be mad.
Oh, I don't.
Well, good thing she doesn't listen to the podcast.
No, because I kind of feel like I wouldn't be surprised if the Spurs actually do want Duncan to just retire because if he retires,
They do.
it helps the cap
Oh,
space
God,
and all that good stuff. Like they want him to retire, and I think also that I kind of feel like Ginobili's throwing a wrench in the wheel as well by saying that he's coming back. And here's where I get kind of like pissy, is that because I get Ginobili, but Ginobili's not Ginobili anymore. But we had him at like a really good discount. Okay, but when his agent comes out and says, Manu's very aware of the market and everything that's happening. No. Don't come back and say like, you are probably worth 10 million. You're probably worth 15 million. Sure, maybe in this market. So it's really overblown. Anyways, I just don't think the Spurs should be spending that much money to have him come back for a year.
No.
I just don't. And he opted out of $2.9 million, which I was okay with. You want to opt in and take that money? Fine. Go ahead, even though I think you should retire. You're done. You're not Ginobili anymore.
Is he playing the Olympics this year?
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. See, that's another factor.
That's what I
up there,
don't
'cause
get.
gonna-
I'm like, you're
You're not
supposed to be
young
resting.
and you're going to tear yourself up. I mean, because
Yeah.
that's highly
Well,
competitive.
he said that this was going to be his last year playing.
Of
Right.
course.
So,
ever.
I mean, he's going to be dead. He's going to be dead by the time the next Olympics start.
He's going to die on the court.
Yeah, so I don't know. Anyways, all right, so Ginobili's coming back, hasn't agreed to anything yet. My big question is what's the price going to be for Ginobili to come back? Timmy will find out this weekend if he's coming back. So let's kind of go down what our potential roster can look like, and then we can kind of talk about that. So I put this up on Go Spurs Go memes because everybody was asking, well, who's on roster? Is Matt Bonner coming back? Is Kevin Martin coming back? What about Andre Miller? All that good stuff. Okay, so right now, what my estimate is that we would actually have about 13 people on roster and 2 open spots to fill with vet minimum contracts. So we have Tony Parker, Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard, LaMarcus Aldridge, now Paul Gasol, Patty Mills, Manu Ginobili, Kyle Anderson, Boban Marjanovic. Now, keep in mind, we have extended a qualifying offer to Boban, $1.5 million, making him a restricted free agent. If somebody were to come around and say, Boban, we want you to come play in Denver, we're going to give you $10 million, Boban is gone. The Spurs are not going to pay $10 million.
There'll be
to
that
keep him.
problem.
Yeah, exactly. Jonathan Simmons, whose contract will be guaranteed at the end of this month on the 31st, if I'm not mistaken, and we only owe him like $870,000. So he's still at a good deal. Okay, DeJounte Murray, which I'm really excited about. That kid, I think it was a steal from the draft for the Spurs to be able to get him. He actually just signed his rookie contract. I think it was today or yesterday. I don't remember when I said that he did. Today. It was today, this afternoon, because he made it on Twitter. He made it known that he will actually be in Summer League tomorrow. So he's going to start playing, which is a great because we're very excited. I'm ready to see him play as well. Get him into the Spurs system. Okay, earlier today, too, the Spurs came to an agreement with Davis Bertans.
Yes.
For years.
I've been wanting that guy
We've
for
been waiting
years.
for this guy to come, and he's finally come to an agreement. The dude has 4 fingers, and he can just shoot.
It's going to be great.
He can shoot lights out. I mean, somebody asked me on Go Spurs Go memes, who do you compare him to? And a good fan of ours, John Abney, basically responded and said that he's heard that Bertrand is basically like a poor man's Dirk Nowitzki. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't heard any other
I don't know
comparisons.
what that means exactly.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Well, no, he's good like Dirk, but you're not going to pay him $40 million like Dirk's getting for 2 freaking years.
He likes the same music.
He's German.
He's German. So it'll be interesting to see Bertrand, but I'm very, very excited to see him. And then the rumors was that the Spurs are also going to sign Livio Jean-Charles. So that'll be another rookie. So hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at this roster, one of the big complaints that everybody was saying about the Paul Gasol signing is we don't need to get older. We don't need old people no more. We need youth. Okay, so by my count, looking at this roster that we basically could have, and we still have 2 roster spots to fill, we have Kyle Anderson that will be going into his 3rd year. Okay, so he's a junior. Let's just call him a junior. Boban Marjanovic, if he stays, he's a sophomore. Jonathan Simmons, he'd be a sophomore. Then you'd have a rookie in DeJounte Murray, a rookie in Davis Bertans, and a rookie in Livio and John Charles. So pretty much about half of your roster is young people.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
And this is what I think we should. This is the thing that we have been waiting for a long time. Well, we've been drafting and stashing people for years now, and it's time for them to.
It's time for them to come and
show
up and show us what you got.
If they suck. We get rid of them, and then we be done with it. But dude, this crap where we were like, oh, we're gonna stash them for like a rainy day,
12
and then
years,
we bring them back when they're 50.
Yeah,
I mean, really? I mean,
or they're
it's just dumb.
stashed away for such a long time that we lose the rights to them, and they end up signing with some other team.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So, looking at this roster, it's a good mix of old, young, veteran, rookie. I'm very curious what Pop would do with this roster and how good this team can be. We still got a question mark on Tim Duncan. Is he coming back? If Tim comes back, I think it actually throws another fork into the wheel because basically the Spurs have to renounce rights to some of these players because they have to open up cap space to keep Timmy on. If Timmy retires, we can stretch out the money that we owe him, and that opens up a little bit of money. And that's another big question, too, with the cap going up, the cap space the Spurs have, all the cap holds from all the players that we used to have on roster, including Matt Bonner, Andre Miller, Kevin Martin. There's a lot of questions as actually what money do the Spurs actually have left? And I really think we don't have any money.
I've got a quarter.
Basically, all the money that we had is going to Paul Gasol. Everyone else that we're going to bring on is going to be a vet minimum. Looking at the way the cap situation is, it's very confusing on what a mid-level is, what the exception is. There's a biannual exception. There's a room exception, all sorts of stuff. I actually think the Spurs might end up with a room exception, which would be worth about $2.9 million, so we can get a free agent with that. But I'm not too sure. I actually think we might not have anything, but I could be totally wrong about that. We have a couple different reporters that really look at cap space, and they're all kind of reporting different things, so it'll be interesting to see. And of course, keep in mind that most contract information is not revealed to the public. Most of it is estimates as well. Okay. I don't know what else to talk about with the Spurs. I'm kind of like
I'm excited for the Bertrands thing. I'm watching some video highlights of him right now as we speak. You're right. He does sort of look like a poor man's Nowitzki.
I'm telling you.
And Livio Jean-Charles, I don't know.
I don't know. I know he played with our D League last year.
Right.
So I'm curious to see if he will actually play with us or will he be back and forth between D League. We talked about earlier. Summer Spurs are doing really well. They're 2-0 right now. They're playing really great.
They blew a 20-point.
They blew it. Yeah, exactly to the Sixers, but whatever.
Yeah, but they had Ben Simmons.
Yeah, but the thing too is like I think during Summer League, Jonathan Simmons looks amazing, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, he's great like this." But then
here we go with that again.
He plays in the NBA, and he's just it's kind of a mess. Like he just fumbles the ball a lot. He tries to do too much. So I'm just kind of like I don't know how to feel about Jonathan Simmons, but for the price that we get him for, I don't think that we could give that up. I don't say like dump that and let's go after somebody else. I think that we. Allow his contract to become fully guaranteed. We keep him on board. Next year's where we decide, are we going to keep investing in this kid or are we going to let him go? That's there's going to be even more questions next summer for free agency there. And then, just kind of looking forward to next year's free agency, you have Russell Westbrook that'll be available. You have Chris Paul that's available, Blake Griffin, and there's a whole lot of others whose contracts are coming open. So next summer will also be another crazy summer of free agencies. And you better believe your San Antonio Spurs will be there looking at making a deal. But the big question is, once we actually have all these contracts signed and the I's dotted, we have everybody on roster, it'll be interesting to see what room we're actually going to have next year. And if we'll have to go through another salary dump to be able to hire more free agents to come to San Antonio.
I think that a lot of these guys, they don't see that part that's a problem. It's like, okay, I want to go to this team and we're going to win with this team, but I want to take most of the money. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. How exactly is that supposed to work? Like, Dwayne Wade is a perfect example of this.
Right.
This fool is giving like the Heat like all sorts of fits,
right?
Because he wants $25 million a year that they don't have,
right? And that's the thing. That's the thing that's really hard for people to understand is how this whole cap space works, what the salary cap is, and everything. Because the biggest question that I got on Go Spurs Go memes is, why are all these teams able to throw these crazy contracts around and the Spurs aren't offering anybody? And the easy answer to that is because the Spurs don't have any money. We have two max players already. We have some people that have contracts. You could say that Parker's at a max contract because he was at the time that he signed it. You have Danny Green at $10 million. You had Boris at $7 million. Patty at close to $4 million. Timmy at $6 million. You add this all up. And before we even sign anybody and you put the cap holds on the people that are not on the roster anymore but were here last year, we're already at the cap. Like, we literally are at $94 million already. And that's not even with signing Paul Gasol. You get rid of Boris, you open up some money, but all that money is going to Gasol again. So we'll actually go over the salary cap again. We'll be under the luxury tax, so Peter Holt isn't going to have to pay extra money for signing the players. He's not a Dan Gilbert, per se, that is ready to just throw out all that luxury tax money. But that's the reason why the Spurs aren't just throwing contracts around left and right. It's because they don't have the money to do that.
Well, that's just not acceptable.
That's not acceptable. Somebody's not doing the books down there at AT&T Center Parkway.
They're not cooking the books right. Frank, you need to get down there with your math skills.
All right. Anyways, all right, guys, that brings us to the end of the Go Spurs Go Memes podcast. Thank you guys for spending some time with us. Buddy, Frank, thank you guys another evening. It's always a pleasure. We'll be back next week. Next week, the plan is we'll go back to our normal structure of a podcast. We'll hopefully have a brand new Spurs in the City, do some movie reviews. We'll do crazy stories of the week, and we might have some special guests in studio with us. The guys from Texas Comic-Con are supposed to come and join us in studio. We're going to talk about Comic-Cons. We are also giving away a 4-pack of tickets to Texas Comic-Con. We'll announce the winner during that show. And when Comic-Con happens at the San Antonio Event Center at the end of this month, we are going to try to do a podcast live from there, so you guys will be able to come out and hang out with us, talk to us. If we can't get the podcast going, maybe we'll do Facebook Live whatsoever, but we will be there, and we'd love for you guys to come hang out and spend some time with us at Texas Comic-Con. So we'll see what's going on. Anyways, guys, I'm your host, Ray. Thank you so much. You can follow this podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Music. We're on YouTube as well. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next week. And as always, go Spurs, go. Boris is gone.
He leaves
Don't trade Danny Green. Get Danny Green. He doesn't hit his shots, but he's good.
Oh, look, they're talking about it right now. They beat you to it.
No, f that. I beat ESPN, motherfucker. I had it up. I mentioned before ESPN. Look at the timestamp, damn it.
He's not Boris Diaw. Boris Diaw has the most jiggles per layup.
What about Ginobili? He
I
can't
love her.
play, but we want him
Just
back.
because she has glasses, I'll be like, leave them on.